I'm 41 now, and healing feels less like a destination and more like a rhythm. A tide that comes and goes, washing over the pieces of myself that I've been gathering along the way. In this season of self-discovery, I've been leaning more into voices that feel like home. And Nikki Giovanni is one of those voices. Her poetry feels like a mirror, reflecting back the parts of me I've ignored, silenced, or forgotten. When I read her work, I see love. Raw, unapologetic, and grounded in the kinds of truths that only nature and ancestry can hold. As a Black woman, love isn't just romantic. It's survival, legacy, and communion with the forces and people that made me. And Giovanni doesn't write about love as just an abstract feeling. She writes it as rivers flowing, trees standing tall, and the whispers of ancestors who remind us that we are still here. Nikki Giovanni's writing is a sanctuary for self-reflection, and to me, a space where the personal merges with the collective. For those engaged in self-healing and studying Black psychology, her work offers profound insights as love rooted in the force of nature and the ancestral currents of the Black Atlantic. And Giovanni's poetry reminds us that love is both universal and deeply personal. A healing balm that connects us to ourselves, others, and the broader story of the African diaspora. I've come to understand healing as a layered process. Messy, cyclical, and often tied to the histories I carry within my body. And there's something grounding about finding words that articulate what you felt you couldn't say. Her writing feels like a conversation with a wise elder, a gentle nudge to look both inward and outward. She writes of love as if it's as natural as breathing. Her imagery is steeped in rivers, skies, and seasons, presenting love as cyclical, regenerative, and enduring. And for her, love is more than just a fleeting feeling. It's a fundamental rhythm of life. And this resonates so deeply with me, as I found solace in my own natural world during my healing journey. And when I read her words, I'm reminded that love is as persistent as the ocean's tides, and as patient as a tree taking root. In her poem, Cotton Candy on a Rainy Day, she says, "Don't look now, I'm fading fast into the sky." And I'm reminded of the fleeting, delicate beauty of love. Something we hold briefly before it dissolves, much like cotton candy. But even in its transience, love leaves its trace. Just as rain nourishes the earth long after the storm has passed. Love's impermanence doesn't diminish its power. Instead, it highlights its preciousness. In Ego Tripping, she uses bold, cosmic imagery to claim love as a divine and ancestral force. She says, "I sat on the throne drinking nectar with Allah. I got hot and sent an ice age to Europe to cool my thirst." And even those words make you think that love is expansive and creative, tied to the forces of nature and the divine. It's not just personal, but a testament to survival, a celebration of power and history. And I've come to see how these themes align with the connective need for healing. A process that acknowledges both the personal wounds and historical trauma of the African diaspora. And this is when Giovanni speaks love as a dialogue with her ancestors. Love doesn't exist in isolation. It's a part of a continuum that connects us to those who came before. Especially as I reflect on the stories and the struggles of my own lineage. In her poem, Those Who Ride the Night Winds, she says we are better than what we think and not quite what we want to be. And simply put, it feels like a message from an elder. A reminder to honor where we've been while striving for where we want to go. And love, in this sense, is just an act of remembrance, a way of keeping the past alive while forging a path forward. As a Black woman, and for Black women especially, this connection to ancestry is powerful. It's a reminder that our healing isn't just for us. It's for the generations who came before us who weren't given the space to heal, and for those who come after who will need it. It's a calling to embrace this continuum, to see love as a bridge between the past, present, and future. And this thought of love aligns beautifully with the importance of community, spirituality, and cultural identity, especially in healing work. And here we see love is not a feeling, but a practice, a reminder of how we tend to ourselves and our relationships. In her poem, Love Is, she writes, "Some people forget that love is tucking you in and kissing you goodnight, no matter how young or old you are." And this simple yet profound definition of love reminds me of the everyday acts of care that sustains us. Love isn't always grand or dramatic. Often it's quiet and steady, like the roots of the tree or the flow of a river. It's helped me reframe love as doesn't demand perfection, but thrives in presence and consistency. So, as I continue my journey of self-love and discovery, I'll continue reading things that resonate with me. Her work is a reminder that love is a force of nature, a balm that soothes wounds, and a current that carries us forward. It's a connection to our ancestors and a celebration of resilience, and a call to embrace the fullness of who we are. In her words, I find permission to feel deeply, love fiercely, and to honor the stories that shaped me. And for that, I am endlessly grateful for her.